Today I've got the most beautiful blouse to share. It's an embroidered rayon, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. There's a little cuff detail with pleats that I added onto the pattern. I'll also be sharing at the very end my makeshift sewing space, and I got a new serger. Stay tuned. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and I'm here from my parents' backyard in Chile. Super nice being here, and I've got another pattern to share that I've made for my beautiful mother. She deserves it. And it's a pattern I've made in the past before. It's about time I made one for her as well. She'd been looking at my other versions. And this is the Presto Tunic from Love Notions. It is a pattern designed for woven fabrics, and today it is the Feature Friday pattern. That means it's 60% off. That's just $5. This is the third time I make it. I seem to make it once per year. It's a really nice pattern that has a lot of options. So they can all turn out looking pretty different. Once you get the fit down, then it's just a matter of swapping out some options and getting a lot of nice garments that fit really well. Because I already have videos about this pattern, I won't go into too much depth about everything. So if you want to see a full pattern review with a lot of details, you can head over to the previous video I made. The first video actually has all the information, but this is a relaxed fit woven top. The most striking feature is on the front, where you have a button placket, and over here you have an inset piece that goes into a rectangle type of shape that's slanted. That's really pretty and fun to sew, and you can finish the neckline either with a collar or bias binding from the same fabric. In this front inset piece, if you wanted to have fun, you could do some pin tucks on a piece of fabric and then cut those pieces. And I've actually done that before, super fun. And then you have side bust darts for shaping. You have back waist darts there as an option if you want to as well. There's a split hem on the side with vents, and originally the front is a little shorter than the back, although I have always evened out my hems. For sleeves, as always, you can make it sleeveless, short sleeves, 3/4 long. At the bottom, you just hem normally. So that is in a nutshell what the Presto Tunic is. I love it for wovens. You can make it out of so many woven fabrics. You'll see a little diagram here about the recommended fabrics. I think if you had quilting cottons in your stash and nice prints, this is the type of fabric that will work for this project. It's not meant to flow or anything, you know. You can make it with a nice structured chambray or shirting, cotton, or if you wanted a flowier, softer look, you could use rayon and crepe and silk. For winter, you could use flannel. The ones I've made in the past have been with crepe. I've made one with 100% rayon, super lightweight, and the one I've made in this opportunity is 100% rayon as well, but it's embroidered all the way through. This pattern hasn't yet been updated to the full size range, so this one just goes up to a 3XL. That goes up to a 51.5-inch hip. It does have the standard bust and the full bust option, and according to that, you have varying degrees of ease. Remember, the full bust option also adds ease to the waist and hips when you sew that version. The first one I made was in 2019, and I made it as a collaboration with my friend Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. So at that time, we both made a version. I decided to make a dress instead of a tunic. I just lengthened all the pattern pieces about 11 inches for it to hit above the knee. You can see a few images of me wearing that there. So pretty with that burgundy and the tropical print. I love tropical prints that are not so bold. I love that first version. It was really great. I figured out exactly the fitting changes I needed to make for my body, which is usually lower the bust dart, you know, that sort of thing. I got the fit right. I love dresses, and any top can actually be a dress. It's a really simple adjustment you can make. The second one I made was in 2020. I have it here with me. I actually did bring it on my trip because it's such a nice woven top to wear. It's really lightweight, it's really comfortable, and I have a video about this one. For this one, I used the bias tape finish there on the neckline, and that's because I'd already done so much work with the pin tucks I did on the front inset. In that video last year, I've shown you how you can incorporate little pin tucks onto any pattern you wanted, really. And in that opportunity, I showed my Presto Tunic, a cadence top, and a ballad blouse that has pin tucks, all patterns from Love Notions. So that is my second one. You can see me wearing it here with a brown glissando skirt, linen pencil skirt. You know, it's a really versatile pattern. You can dress it up and down. This is a more casual version for me. So comfortable. For this one, I did sew the back waist darts. I think it's an option I like to take if it's there. The sizes I'd made previously were a large and then an extra large. Now I saw a rayon in the shops. It was 100% rayon, but embroidered all over. So pretty. I can't wear white. I don't feel good in white. I feel like I'm going to get stained as soon as I leave the house. Even when I'm sewing, I'm really terrified of staining the fabric. So I'm not comfortable wearing white. But my mum, she wears white pants. She never stains them. I don't know. She loves it. And so I bought that fabric for her and decided to make the Presto Tunic for her in this special fabric. For her, I made a size large. And then I knew I had to take in the hips a little bit to a size M. But I just preferred to do that on the body rather than just going ahead and doing it on the pattern. If I'm going to take in hips, I'd rather just do it with the garment on the person and see how much really is going to look good and all that. For her, I took the same precautions for fitting. I did a lot of her measurements, her bust height, her waist height and all of that. And you can see here a little diagram of the changes that we made to hers. Lower the bust height, of course, that's a given by 1¼ inches. She didn't want the side vents, so I just folded that piece of the pattern away. She also wanted it shorter so she could wear it with skirts and under a blazer, that sort of thing. And about the waist darts at the back, she wasn't sure she needed them. She typically likes to wear clothes with more ease, that's what I like. Ease is a personal preference, and she tends to wear them a little looser than what I would. So you take all those things into account when you're sewing for someone else. It's about what they want. I originally was planning just to make a short sleeve, but then seeing how much fabric I had and how I was placing my pattern pieces, I figured out I could get a long sleeve, but I was missing about 1 inch. Like, I measured her arms and her blouse is going to be about 1 inch too short with the fabric I had. So I decided to do something different, make a little change. Now, white is super hard to see. I hope you are able to see. And now what did I do? Because my mom's sleeves are going to be too short. So I decided to create a little cuff that I added onto the bottom and these little pleats right there. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to see. I'm pretty sure you're not going to see everything. I want to show you how I put these little cuffs in there. It's definitely not part of the pattern, but if you are getting into a problem where your sleeve is going to be too short because you don't have enough fabric, you can always find a little piece from somewhere else where you're cutting your fabric to make little cuffs. And that instantly makes your sleeves a little longer and can also add a nice little detail there. I think cuffs are always super pretty. So all I did was cut 2 cuffs. They are 3½ inches tall or 9 centimeters. And how much? I measured my mom's wrist and added 1 inch for ease. That's the length of it, and how tall they are is 9 inches. That's just because of the fabric I had. It's like I could have made the cuff a little wider, but I didn't. So here you can see my cuffs. They are custom made to my mom's wrist circumference plus a little bit of ease. One of these long ends has been pressed in towards the wrong side, so that's ready for later. And then I can just sew these short ends, press that seam open, and I'll have a little tube. Now I know this cuff will be smaller than the original width of my sleeve right there, but that excess can be gathered. In this case, I've decided to do a few pleats into that cuff to bring it all in there. I think it'll look really pretty. I slide my sleeve inside. Now I like to do it on the reverse, so the right side of the cuff is touching the wrong side of the sleeve. You can see the seam allowance of the sleeve in there, and I pin it on the round. Now towards the back part of the sleeve, I make sure I make the pleats in that area. So you can see I'm showing you the double notch there of the sleeve that signifies the back. In that area at the bottom of the sleeve, I just made 3 little pleats, eyeballing them, no maths. Just took that excess and looked inside to make sure it was going to look nice. Once I did the first sleeve like that, then I replicated the same type of pleats on the other side to make sure they were symmetrical. I didn't measure or do any maths or nothing. I just pleated it while I was pinning. And that's really nice to do some freestyle sewing like that, where not everything has to be so technical and so specific. Things can work out just as well. I knew that the original design has a wider sleeve right there, and I wanted the cuff a little smaller. So if you don't want to bother with pleats, you can just gather that excess into the cuff and it would also be super nice. Now it is a small area to sew on your sewing machine, so the way I like to do it is to put it inside the presser foot. So I'm sewing on the round like that. Once I've sewn that seam, I can, open all this cuff up, and you can see I'm looking at the wrong side of the sleeve there. Then I turn the sleeve right sides out, and then I bring that edge that had already been pre-pressed and folded over to meet that seam. It's fiddly fabric, it is rayon. I decided to hand baste that in place, and then to sew that top stitch it. So I turn the sleeve wrong sides out again so I can slide the cuff in under the presser foot so that what I'm sewing in there is the right side of the blouse where I've got the edge of the cuff basted on. And having the hand basting there is always so nice because I don't need to worry about pins on such a tiny little area like that. That's how I made the cuff and the pleats. It turned out really pretty. Now I'm really frustrated because I can see how beautiful this white fabric is in this white blouse, but I'm not sure what you're going to see through the camera. The seams, I've serged them separately. Because the fabric is embroidered, it turns out quite heavy. So I thought serging them together was going to be bulky. For this other Presto Tunic that is a really lightweight rayon, all my seams are just serged together and pressed to one side. No drama there, but not for this one. Anyway, I am sure you are going to see the gloriousness of this top in the video and the pictures. I made sure to film that and take pictures in a way that you will actually see the features more than what you can see with me showing it here. So let's see. Here is my mum in the Presto Tunic from Love Notions that I've made her. This is a size large. It's a really beautiful white embroidered 100% rayon, super delicate details. I think the details really shine with a solid fabric like this, and the embroidery give it something extra. You'll see that up close. Mum wanted a shorter length than the original. She didn't want the side vents either, so I just evened out the hem and made it a bit shorter. Here you can see the gorgeous inset piece and the placket. The mandarin collar, there is an easier option to finish the neckline just with bias tape, but I really wanted to do the collar. And I added a little fun detail at the bottom of the sleeve. I just added a simple cuff and 3 little pleats there. She loves it. She says she's going to keep this forever. It's going to go with everything. It's white. It's very classic. So a really nice blouse in white that can go with everything. My mom wants to wear it both casually and formally. She's really good at styling. A lot of my ideas come from her, from me growing up watching her get dressed. Actually, she loves a good pencil skirt. I think she styled it super pretty in what you saw right now. Don't forget that the Presto Tunic is only $5 today, only Friday. Now all the patterns will be updated eventually, so if this is slightly out of your size range and you are waiting for the update, you can still purchase it now. And when patterns are updated, you just download them again from your account. You don't need to buy them again. Love Notions has updates that are always free. I will leave you a playlist of all my Presto Tunic videos down below so you can see them all. And that is actually it about the sewing right now. Now, if you are wanting to have a nosy into how I'm sewing here and what my space looks like, I have a second segment for you. Some of you have asked me what sewing machine I'm using because you've seen a little difference in the color and all that. And I am in my parents' guest room, which is one big room. There is a twin bed there that my son is going to use and a double bed for me and my husband. We're all going to sleep in the same room. And it's a pretty large room, and along one wall where the windows are, there are 2 tables there. One that I'm using to cut my fabric. You can see I've got my cutting mat and some bits and bobs on the table. This is a multi-purpose table. My mum uses it for her crafting. There you can see the window. I've got good lighting, the curtains. And then there's a tiny, tiny table next to the closet. And it's got a Toyota Super Jean sewing machine, which is a basic machine, but it's pretty strong. It can go through a lot of seams, and I haven't had any issues with it. I can sew whatever I want with it, so I'm happy. And over there, you saw a glimpse of my new serger. Now, in the past, we had my old original semi-industrial metal green Chinese serger that my parents got for me, I believe, in like 1998. So it was over 20 years old, and we've said goodbye to that machine. Served its purpose for a very, very long time. And over here, I was able to purchase a new serger to have here. Now, I really want to have a good setup when I come here because I want to keep sewing, not only for the channel, but I sew a lot of little things for my nieces, and I just cannot live without a serger. You know, at this point, I think it's a really nice machine to have. Maybe sometimes when you're starting out sewing, you might not see how practical and how good it is to have one. But by this point, after more than 30 years of sewing, I think it's really nice to have one. So I was able to purchase one here in Chile. It's very similar to the one I have at home, only this one is a little older than that one. It looks a little different on the front, but the way that you thread everything is all the same. So my dad pitched in a little bit with the cost, so that was good. I've really done my best to show my mum how to use it, but she's still a little overwhelmed with it because she isn't really a true sewist. Like, she just does hems and cushions, and she can use the sewing machine, the basic sewing machine, okay, but she finds this one with all those threads and needles a little bit intimidating. So I hope I can get through to her that it's not that bad, that she can actually learn how to use it as well. And I filmed the unboxing for you, super exciting. It's always so nice to have a serger. This is a Janome 8002D, which is a pretty known model, a pretty well-known serger model. So nice. So I'm just opening up the box here. My mum was with me. All very intrigued in my family about this because they've never seen a serger like this. They were used to seeing the old metal one that I had in the past. So on top you always find the warranty and the manuals. It's all in Spanish, and here I have the pedal. So that's nice in a little plastic bag. The good thing about buying a machine here and locally where you live in is that it comes in the right voltage. So this is 220 because that's what you use here in Chile. The machine I use in Brazil is 110. So in there comes a little bag with all the tools, little tweezers and extra needles. So similar to the machine I have at home, which is just a newer Janome. Now just adjust the camera to get a little better angle inside. It's all very safely packed. It's already threaded, just with short threads, so that's nice. Although I know how to thread it, it's no drama. That is the beauty of buying a machine similar to the one I'm already using, because I have zero stress right here, zero. Not like when I got my Janome back home a few months ago. I was very excited and also a little bit intimidated because I didn't really know how it was. I had to learn it because I already know that one, and this one is super easy as well. I'm just setting it up here. I'm so excited, just so excited to have a good working serger here as well, where I don't have to worry about anything breaking or coming undone. You know, the old serger was in its last life really. This is so nice, and yeah, we're all excited that the machine is here. It's a really good addition to have here for when I travel. I hope I can come here more frequently and not have 2 years go by because of what happened in the world. Super happy to be here, and I wanted you to see and imagine in the way that I'm sewing. Now next week, the week before Christmas, is going to be really, really tough because my husband and son are arriving. They are going to be sleeping in there and doing things in the room, so I won't have it accessible like 100% like I've had it now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to manage my time really, really well. Just know that I'm doing my best. I'm just trying to adapt and go with the flow. I'm gonna be traveling to the capital, to Santiago, and to another city where my in-laws live to pick up my son. I'm gonna be voting in the presidential elections here in Chile, and I'm always so happy to be able to do that because I'm usually not in Chile when these things happen, so I'm glad I can go and put my vote there. And then on Monday, we're going to go back to Santiago, to the capital, and we're going to go to the fabric district. It's a specific road that's a lot of blocks in the center of the city that's got a ton of fabric shops. And my dad's going to meet us there, so it'll be my dad, myself, and my son going to look at fabrics. I know my son's going to hate it, but he has to go because he's a minor. Can't leave him anywhere by himself. So I'll try to get a little bit of footage here and there. I am really cautious about vlogging in public. I think it can be really intrusive if people don't know, and I just wouldn't want to put a camera in anyone's face. So when I do it discreetly, very quickly, just a glimpse here and there. But I hope I can share some of that with you. And yeah, I'll come back packed with fabrics. I don't know how I'm going to take it all back to Brazil, but really looking forward to that. And having my dad go there is really nice as well. Makes me feel safer. My dad's from there, I just feel safer going in a little crowd than going by myself. So that'll be cool, and I hope I can bring you that content next week. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit mixed content, a little bit of sewing, a little bit of sewing space. But you can make sewing work, you don't have to have a full room. You can have a little corner of a room, This is working, and I'm happy I can at least have all these things here. My parents know that what I do is important to me, so they have that set up there for me all the time, and that's amazing. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy sewing, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.